Hi. I can't sit on my bed because there's too many books in the way. Let me just move my piles. Okay. Hello, we're crooked. Now we're crooked the other way. It's fine. Okay. Hello, Goodie Two Shoes. My name is Aubrie Rose. Welcome back to my channel. So this is like a book recommendations video. It has a specific title, but I can't remember what it is. I will find it and that will be the title. I just don't remember what it's called right now. Anyway, I have a list of questions here. I don't even know who these questions are from. I will also look that up and link people in the description. I will link things in the description that I don't remember currently. And all of these books will be linked in the description with my affiliate links, Amazon, that. I highly recommend all of these books. I was double checking. Question number one is, I guess it's not even a question. This is just like a statement. This is a statement. I'm gonna make it a question. Okay, hold on. What is a book that you tell everyone is your favorite? All day, every day. It is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I love this book. This is my second copy of Heartless. I have a hardcover and then I have this beautiful white paperback. I loved the white cover. Yes. Love the story. I've heard recently people that don't like it, and I sort of understand, but it is my favorite book ever. This is a Alice in Wonderland retelling. Well, sort of. It's not really an Alice in Wonderland retelling. It is an villain's origin story. And so it's about the Queen of Hearts before she became the Queen of Hearts. It was really funny because I was like, someone was talking about how they didn't like the main character, and I was like, that's the point. She's very sassy, she's very entitled, and you're not supposed to like her because it's supposed to set up how she became the Queen of Hearts. Like you have to be able to see how she could get from semi-innocent teen girl to evil Queen of Hearts. So I love this book. I haven't even finished Alice in Wonderland, but I love this book. And I still also kind of related to Catherine. So yeah, what that says about me. A book that is your guilty pleasure. I'm gonna go ahead and say And Then There Were None, because it's dark, it's mystery, I love it. I read it at least twice, but like the first time I read it in a day. So And Then There Were None, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 10 people are invited to Soldier Island. I can't remember. An island. They're invited to an island, and there is this like poem, kids nursery rhyme in every room, and all of these people have committed a crime, and so then they're all told about the crime that they commit. Most of them said that they didn't do it, but then they are all killed off one by one, the same way that it is talked about in the child's nursery rhyme poem that's in every room. Love this book. It's short, it's perfect, I love it. Yes. Guilty pleasure. A book that you read, a book that everyone loved but you didn't. Okay, so this one, I actually read this recently. I read Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, I think. Daisy Darker is actually the exact same plot line pretty much as And Then There Were None. So I was loving it from the beginning. Yeah, it's just like it's family instead of like being random strangers. They're all in the same family and they all get brought to grandma's house. People start dying. Yeah. So it's actually kind of funny, but also kind of sad that like two favorite books of mine, or two books that were really similar. One of them was my favorite and one of them was like, no. And I've heard some people talk about it. I've heard good things about it, so I was excited. I don't know if I read it too fast. No, that's not what happened. I was not a fan of the end. I was kind of upset, actually. Yeah, that's all I'm saying about that. Anyway, a book that you read the fastest. I recently reread this book and I finished it in a day. So I'm gonna use this. I've also, like, I read And Then There Were None the first time in a day. I read Daisy Darker in like 6 hours. This one though, I really love this book. The Fill-In Boyfriend. The main character, what is her name? I can't remember names for the life of me. Gia. So Gia's boyfriend dumps her in the parking lot. In the prom parking lot. Her friends, there's one new friend in their friend group that doesn't believe Gia has a boyfriend. Like, just very not great relationship, I guess, that they have. She's trying to take over the friend group, sort of. And Gia would be fine with being friends with this person, but they're just like, don't believe anything that she says, and it just becomes so irritating. But I also kind of love that, or I like that subplot. It is kind of annoying that she doesn't really make up with her friends as much, spoiler, sorry, in the end, but she finds this random guy in the parking lot and she says, hey, will you be my prom date? Will you pretend to be my boyfriend real quick? And dude's actually an actor. And so then they go and he pretends to be her date, and it's amazing. I love it so much. And then, you know, stuff happens from there. A book that deserves more hype. So this book is definitely getting hype, but on Instagram, I really like this author. She's sort of a friend of mine on Instagram, you know, as much as you can be friends online.
Well, I guess not quite as much because I have other people that I'm a little bit more friends with, but like...
I'm doing a wonderful job of explaining this, obviously. Okay, so Love and Gavin by Pixie Perkins. So Mackenzie has a crush on her best friend's older brother. But her best friend's twin brother, so this was a little hard for me to explain. Okay, so main character, best friend. Best friend has a twin brother, best friend has an older brother. Mackenzie has a crush on the older brother, but she has like a hate relationship, or like an enemies relationship, with her friend's twin brother. But Mackenzie was writing like a love letter to best friend's older brother, but she didn't sign it or like label who it was to. And then the twin brother finds it and it's like, hey, what is this? And then she says that because she doesn't want anyone to know about her crush with the other brother, she says, that love letter I wrote to you, actually. And he doesn't believe her, but then they start kind of like fake dating, but they're like dating, but she's kind of faking it, I guess, so that he doesn't find out about her crush. But then, yeah, things happen from there. Okay, I love that book. I'm gonna reread it again soon. It's not very well known because she's an indie author, and so I want to read the rest of her books. And if this sounds fun or interesting to you, check out her Instagram and yeah, check out this book or any of her other books. She's also writing another one, so excited about that. A movie that is becoming a book that is becoming a movie or a TV show. So I don't know about becoming any of my books. I mean, I hope the Lunar Chronicles is becoming a movie or TV show. TV show, definitely. But yeah, this one I do know for sure. I mean, there's so many adaptations of Dracula, but there is a 3-episode like little mini series on Netflix that I really enjoyed. If you're into horror and you like the Dracula story and you kind of want to, I would recommend reading this first and then watching it, because you get all of the characters that are mentioned in the book. They did do Quincy wrong, but yes, highly recommend. It is dark and creepy, so like if that's not your thing, maybe don't watch it. But if you like Dracula and you're kind of into semi-horror, I guess, I really liked that. Okay, 7. A book that you've reread the most, other than Heartless and Then There Were None. I've read that one only twice, actually. actually. The Lunar Chronicles I've read multiple times. Highly recommend. Oh, this is also like a book you usually recommend when asked to give a recommendation. That's question 10. This is also Lunar Chronicles. I pretty much like Lunar Chronicles all day. So I've reread it the most, probably recommend it the most, probably wish I could live in here. Some of my favorite characters are also in one of the books, so like I could answer this for so many of the questions. I'm gonna try not to, like I found different ones, but yes. Okay, so Lunar Chronicles, they're fairy tale retellings in a dystopian kind of sci-fi world. So they change fairy tale fantasy elements and she makes it like more science fiction and dystopian, and I love it to pieces. Okay, a book from a genre you don't typically read. So this is an advanced reader copy. I'm gonna go into the whole story about how I got an ARC in a video that I'm gonna do with this book and some others. So this is the Book of Pearl. This has there are a lot of reasons why this is a book that I wouldn't normally pick up. Number one, it is actually translated from French. This is French literature translated into English so I can read it. And I've only read one other book that I know was translated from French. Second, this is historical fantasy. This is historical fantasy, like a historical fairy tale, and I really love that aspect of it. And it's very, yeah, it's really cool. So there's that. Yeah, historical fantasy. Never really read historical fantasy before. So this one is, I can't really explain this well because there's so many different kind of aspects of the story and how it's told. But basically it's like there's a fairy tale world, but one of the characters, so it's also like a star-crossed lovers, has that trope in it. So a prince falls in love with a fairy. The fairy kind of renounced her powers, but then right before or right after she renounced her power so that she could live forever or have a happily ever after with this prince, he gets transported into our world in France during World War II, I think, or World War I, one of the world wars. I think World War II. Yes, World War II. So yeah, she no longer has powers and he's now in a different world, so they still love each other, but they're growing up and they have to find a way to find each other, but the prince doesn't remember who he is when he gets to our world, and so he has to find out who he is, where he came from, find his love. It's amazing. It's heartbreaking. I love it. Highly recommend. Okay. A book that deserves all the hype it gets. I am gonna go ahead and say The Book Thief. The Book Thief, this is also one that I was like, I wasn't sure I was gonna like it when I read it because I'm not really historical fiction girly. I love this book. The prose is beautiful, it is perfect. Well, there is one thing that I don't know though, because it's like, it really shows all the raw and deep emotions of someone living in World War II, another World War II thing. But yes, very popular, which I'm happy about. And yeah, this is one of those ones that I was like, I just want to read it slow so it never ends and I can just get little pieces of it, perfect pieces of it every day. I read it like that for a while. I'm gonna reread it again soon. I don't want to read it faster, but I kind of need to if I want to get it posted anytime soon, that video. Okay. Yeah. I'm assuming most people know about that, so I'm not gonna talk about it a lot. A book you usually recommend when asked to give a recommendation. So I said this for something different. What was the other one? Wait. Oh. A book that I reread a lot? Is that what it was? The book that you reread the most. Okay, so when asked to give a recommendation, it is always Lunar Chronicles. But should I have done something for a different one? Reread the most? No, because it's still Lunar Chronicles and Heartless. So anyway, I definitely recommend the Lunar Chronicles, and also a book that has my favorite characters is Cress. So this one's Cinder is the Cinderella retelling. Cress is the third book in the series, so don't go picking this one up first. This is a Rapunzel retelling. Has my favorite characters. Absolutely love them. Always recommend the Lunar Chronicles when someone asks me what my favorite books are, what they should read. Lunar Chronicles. And Marissa Meyer's writing, for the most part. Okay. A book you wish you could live in. Oh. I can just sit right here. So Phantom Heart. I think she's not an indie author.
Maybe she is. I don't think she's an indie author. I think she talked about her publisher. Maybe she is. I found the copyright page real quick. Okay, Penguin.
Penguin Random House. Okay, she doesn't have a lot of, well, she has a few books. She doesn't seem to be very popular. I never really see anyone talk about her books, but this is a Phantom of the Opera retelling in modern times. I love this book, and I would totally live in this world because I already kind of live in this world, but it would just be a world that the Phantom is also in. Would kind of also mean ghosts could get to our world. He was cursed for something. I can't remember. I'm reading it again. Yeah, I couldn't find any other book that I was like, oh yeah, I would live in this world. So I just pulled this one out so I could talk about it. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. A book you thought you would hate but ended up loving. Honestly, kind of The Book Thief, because I was like, this isn't really a book that I would read, but I loved it. This is also kind of that. So fiction, historical fiction, had to read it for school. And so, you know, when you have to read books for school, it's like, I don't want to read this. This is actually a really good book, though. It's really cute. It's got a little bit of romance. The romance kind of threw me, though, when I read it for the first time, because I was like, wait, they're together? I was like, this guy, I forgot about this guy. And then he came back, and then they're a thing now. But yeah, I really like this book, and I'm going to be reading it again. I thought I said that for like the last 5 books. What is it? It's about a girl who's coming from, okay, she grew up on the island of Barbados, but she is moving to the New World, and she's just kind of different. And so when you're different, sometimes people think that you are a witch. So she's kind of dealing with that, trying to be who she is while also dealing with other people and kind of social etiquette, and yeah, but she also finds someone else who's like condemned, or like they say that she's a witch, but she becomes friends with that person. There's some stuff that happens in here. I don't know exactly like themes, even though I read this for school. So yeah, I'm gonna read this again and maybe I can talk about it better. Oh, I'm afraid this is gonna fall. This is gonna fall. Okay, there we go. I'll just move that over here. Okay, a book that made you cry. I'm actually gonna pull out a Kindle book, or a book that I have on Kindle. I'm not gonna actually bring out my Kindle. I'm just gonna put it over here. So this book, also by an indie self-published author that I found on Instagram. She has 2 books that she's written. I don't think she's writing anymore because she's focusing on her nursing career. But this book I absolutely loved. I couldn't tell you everything that it's about. I think it was like a bookstore owner and a firefighter, and it's people who are like characters that were introduced in the other book, or they know of characters that were in her first book. I didn't read her first book. I do plan on reading that eventually. But yes, I love this book so much that it made me cry when I got to like the last chapter, because I was like, I don't want this to end. And yeah, I really recommend that book. It was really sweet, very, very clean. Contemporary romance. It was beautiful. Okay, book that you wish you could read for the first time. Maybe that one, maybe some other ones. I pulled out this one. I really liked this book. Casey West is one of my favorite authors, contemporary romance YA authors. Maybe this time, I really liked this book, and I wouldn't be mad if I could like erase it from my memory and read it for the first time again. I think I would probably go into it with the same stipulations, like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this book. It was great. It was great. Yeah, so those are books that you should totally read if you like any of my interests, I guess. We had a wide variety. We had some horror, we had some classics, we had some historical fiction, we had some dystopian, sci-fi, and fantasy. We had some contemporary romance. Just something for everyone. And all the things for me. Okay, so yeah. Thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to check out these books. I think I said that already, but these are like my favorite books, so please read. Don't tell me if you hate them. Yeah. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.